If you've been sewing with a projector for a while now, you already probably know the name of the HY310X. It's the projector that I have recommended for over a year, and it's the one a lot of you bought after watching and reading my reviews. But there is a new version out, the HY320Pro, and after testing it side by side with the HY310X, I think it just became the new best budget sewing projector for 2026. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what's different and whether it's actually worth buying or upgrading to. And stick around because at the end, I'm giving one of these away, completely free to one of you. If you're new here, I use projectors to project sewing patterns directly onto fabric, so you skip printing, taping, and cutting out paper pattern pieces entirely. If that's new to you, I've got a full beginner video linked above and in the description below. MagCubit sent me this projector to review, but all opinions are my own. This review is specifically through the lens of sewing room use and not home theater. A lot of projector reviews online are going to be chasing color accuracy and contrast and sound for movie night. We care about different things here for sewing. Brightness on a flat surface in a lit room, image clarity, and throw distance in a small space. So let's get into it. Here's what you get with the HY320Pro. 1080p native resolution, and that one's a big one. That matters a lot for sewing because pattern lines and text need to stay sharp. Brightness. The projector specs list this as 400 ANSI lumens. I tested it myself with a lux meter and got an average of 205 lux lumens at my typical projection distance of 56.5 inches lens to table. Focus. It does have auto focus, and the manual focus buttons also operate directly from the remote control, so you don't need to get on a ladder. It has a throw ratio of 1.0, meaning for about every foot of distance from your wall or table, you'll get roughly a foot of image in width. Good even for smaller sewing spaces. It does have Bluetooth for pairing external speakers, HDMI input for wired connection to a laptop or device, and screencast wireless mirroring to cast from your phone or laptop without the use of cables. Now that we covered the main specs, let's talk about what it's actually like to use for sewing. First, I tested this unit myself with a lux meter under consistent condition and measured it to have an average of 205 lux lumens over an image, which is one of the brighter budget projectors I've tested so far. It is brighter near the center of the image and a bit dimmer on the edges, but it's not super noticeable to the naked eye. So is that bright enough for sewing? In a room with normal ambient light, just your typical sewing room, it is bright enough to see the pattern lines. But in direct sunlight, you may have difficulty seeing all of those pattern lines clearly, which is similar to most projectors. Dimming the lights, you don't have to go completely black, will result in a much better viewing and cutting experience, as the lines will clearly stand out. Comparing this to the HY310X, this is noticeably brighter. I thought the HY310X was a great brightness for a budget projector, but the HY320Pro outperforms it. The HY310X was tested at the same distance and got 112 lux lumens compared to the 205 lux lumens of the HY320 Pro. The HY320Pro has a native 1080p resolution, which means the text showed through with great clarity. I was impressed that there was minimal blurring on the edges. This projector comes with autofocus, but can also be manually adjusted using buttons directly on the remote. Yay for not needing to get on a ladder to focus ceiling-mounted projectors. I typically like to turn off autofocus and use manual focus just to minimize calibration changes. This projector also includes auto keystone correction for squaring up the screen. I was able to calibrate the projector with auto keystone on and with it off, but turning it off will also ensure the calibration doesn't change during cutting sessions. You will get a great image size with this projector with a throw ratio of 1.0. which means for every inch of distance between the lens and cutting surface, you will get about an inch of width. I tested this at a distance of 56.5 inches, and I was able to get a 55.5 inch wide projection. The HY310X does produce a slightly larger image size since it has a lower throw ratio of 0.8. However, for my setup, I actually lost most of the extra image size off the edges of my table. So you will need to decide if your setup needs the extra image size the HY310X can provide or not. This projector does not have a battery and must be plugged in. The power cable is pretty short, so just have an extension cord available to use. You've got two ways to get your pattern onto this thing. Plug it in with HDMI from a device, or use screencast to mirror wirelessly from your phone or laptop. The screencast option does require an internet connection. If you're using a pattern app like IntelliSew or Pattern Projector, screencasting is very convenient, so there is no cable running across your sewing room. Bluetooth is here too, mainly if you want to pair a speaker. A nice bonus, I found that the speakers were not the best for movie watching, but it's really not needed for sewing. There are so many ways to mount the HY320Pro for sewing. It does have a regular screw mount on the bottom. Check out a few options I have shown here. There is sure to be one that works well for your sewing room. The best ceiling mounts are the mount available on projectorsewing.com. I'll link them in the description along with an article on how to mount a sewing projector that includes links to popular ways to mount this projector for sewing. So if you are here to get your first projector for sewing or upgrade your current setup, which projector should you get? The 310X or the HY320Pro? I was really impressed with the HY320Pro. At first, I wasn't sure since the past model HY320 didn't work great for us, but the new HY320Pro really is an upgraded version of the HY300. In my book, the HY320Pro beats the 310X in all categories except for throw ratio. For my setup, the lower throw ratio of the 310X was not really needed. The HY320Pro with a throw ratio of 1.0 works great for my sewing room, and the 205 lux lumen brightness makes it possible to cut patterns in even an ambient lit room. They are both priced around the same, so the ultimate choice is for you to make. Okay, now for the fun part. We're giving away one HY320Pro projector completely free to one of you. Here's how you enter. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel if you're not already. Comment below and tell me where you are in your projector sewing. Is this your first projector? Have you been sewing for a while? Or are you an expert? I'll pick a winner on September 4th, 2026 and announce it in the description and a pinned comment. So make sure to check back on September 4th and email me within 1 week to verify your win if it's you. This giveaway is not sponsored by YouTube, and Projector Sewing is solely responsible for the contest. See the description below for details and complete giveaway rules. If you're ready to upgrade your sewing and ditch printing and taping, tap that link below and grab the HY320Pro. It is the perfect start or upgrade to your projector sewing. Thank you for watching and happy sewing!